Maya Rodriguez was 34 years old when she realized she had been living a lie. Not intentionally. She'd simply accepted what everyone had told her about how desire was supposed to work, never questioning whether it actually matched her reality. It was a sweltering August afternoon in Austin, the kind where the heat shimmers off the pavement, and even the cicadas sound exhausted. Maya sat in her air-conditioned office downtown, staring blankly at her computer screen, unable to focus on the marketing campaign she was supposed to be finalizing. Another date had ended badly the night before. Another well-meaning man had looked at her with confusion and hurt when she couldn't match his enthusiasm, when her body remained stubbornly unresponsive despite her genuine attraction to him. "Maybe you just need to relax more," Daniel had said, trying to be helpful but only making it worse. "Or maybe you should see someone about this." The suggestion stung, even though Maya knew he meant well. See someone about what exactly? About being broken? About not being able to perform on command, like some kind of machine? Maya had tried everything. She'd read countless articles about low libido, taken supplements, changed her diet, started exercising more, started exercising less, meditated, tried different partners, tried the same partner multiple times. Nothing worked consistently. The frustrating part was that Maya did feel desire, just not in the ways or times that seemed to make sense. Sometimes she'd feel intensely aroused completely out of nowhere, her body practically vibrating with need. Other times, in moments that should have been perfect, candlelit dinners, romantic getaways, attractive partners who were clearly interested, she felt absolutely nothing. It was like her libido had a mind of its own, operating on a schedule and logic she couldn't decipher. And the more she tried to control or understand it, the more erratic it became. "There's something wrong with me," Maya whispered to her reflection in the bathroom mirror that evening, her dark eyes filled with frustration. Her phone buzzed. A text from her best friend, Jessica. "Coffee tomorrow? I want to tell you about something that might help." The next morning, Maya met Jessica at their favorite spot on South Congress, a quirky coffee shop with mismatched furniture and walls covered in local art. Jessica was already there, her red hair pulled back in a messy bun, 2 iced lattes waiting on the table. "Okay, so hear me out before you say no," Jessica began, sliding a latte across to Maya. "Remember how I told you I was struggling with similar issues? The whole libido roller coaster thing?" Maya nodded, grateful that at least one person understood. "Well, I went to see this specialist, sexologist Beto Alves. And Maya, I'm not exaggerating when I say it completely changed everything for me." "A sexologist?" Maya felt her cheeks warm. "Isn't that kind of, I don't know, intimidating? Embarrassing?" "Yeah, I thought so too. But Beto isn't like that at all. He specializes in female libido and sexual energy. He doesn't treat you like you're broken or abnormal. He helps you understand how your specific body and energy actually work." Jessica pulled out her phone and showed Maya a website. Professional, calming, with testimonials from women describing profound transformations in their relationship with their own sexuality. "He does body work, breath work, energy practices," Jessica continued. "And he created this method called intimate alchemy that's supposed to be incredible. I haven't gotten there yet, but even just the initial sessions have helped me understand so much about myself." Maya studied the website, her skepticism warring with desperate hope. "And you really think this could help?" "I think you owe it to yourself to find out. What do you have to lose?" 2 weeks later, Maya found herself parking outside a beautifully restored Victorian house in the Clarksville neighborhood. Her palms were sweating despite the air conditioning in her car. She'd almost canceled 3 times. The interior was designed for calm, soft lighting, comfortable furniture, the subtle scent of sandalwood. A receptionist greeted her warmly and led her to a waiting area filled with books on wellness, energy work, and feminine sexuality. Maya had barely opened one when a door opened and a man appeared. "Maya, I'm Beto Alves. Welcome." He was 35, with warm brown eyes, dark hair, and an immediate presence that was both professional and genuinely welcoming. He wore simple clothes, dark pants and a cream-colored linen shirt, and had a calm energy that immediately put Maya somewhat at ease. "Thank you for seeing me," Maya said, shaking his hand. Beto's office was spacious and serene, with large windows overlooking a garden. There was a massage table in one corner, meditation cushions in another, and a comfortable seating area where they settled. "So, Maya, tell me what brings you here," Beto said, his voice gentle and non-judgmental. Maya took a deep breath and began to talk. She told him about the confusion, the inconsistency, the feeling of being completely disconnected from her own desire, how sometimes she felt intense arousal at random moments, but when she was actually with someone, her body shut down, how she'd tried everything and nothing seemed to work. "I just don't understand my own body," she finished, feeling vulnerable. "It's like my libido is completely unpredictable. Either it's in overdrive at the wrong times, or completely absent when I actually want to feel something." Beto listened intently, occasionally nodding, never interrupting. When she finished, he leaned forward slightly. "Maya, can I share something with you? What you're describing isn't abnormal at all. In fact, it suggests something important. Your libido isn't broken or malfunctioning. You just haven't learned to recognize how it actually communicates with you." "What do you mean?" "Most women are taught that desire should work a certain way, that it should be spontaneous, that it should arise from visual stimulation or romantic context, that it should follow a predictable pattern. But that's only one type of desire, and it's not how most women actually function." Beto explained that there were many different patterns of libido and arousal. Some women had spontaneous desire that appeared out of nowhere. Others had responsive desire that needed specific conditions to emerge. Some were highly sensitive to emotional connection, others to physical sensation, others to energy and presence. Your libido might be trying to tell you something specific about what you need, but you've been interpreting its signals as dysfunction because they don't match the standard narrative. Maya felt something shift inside her, a crack in the wall of confusion and self-judgment she'd built. "So you're saying I'm not broken?" "You're not broken at all. You're just speaking a different language than you've been taught to expect. And my job is to help you learn your own language." The first session began simply. Beto guided Maya to the meditation cushions and taught her different breathing techniques. "I want you to notice how your body feels with each type of breath," he explained. "Not what you think you should feel, but what you actually feel." They practiced slow, deep breathing, then rapid, energizing breathing, then rhythmic breathing with holds. After each one, Beto asked Maya to describe her experience. "The slow breathing makes me feel calm, but also aware," Maya said. "The fast breathing makes me anxious. The rhythmic one with holds feels powerful, like energy building." "Good. You're already learning to listen to your body's actual responses rather than your assumptions about what they should be." Over the next few sessions, they continued this exploration. Beto taught Maya body awareness practices, asking her to notice which areas of her body felt alive, which felt numb, which held tension. "Most people are completely disconnected from vast portions of their own bodies," Beto explained. "They can feel their hands and face, but their hips, their chest, their legs, these areas are essentially offline. And when your body is offline, your libido has nowhere to land." Maya began practicing these awareness exercises at home. She'd lie in bed before sleep, slowly bringing her attention to different parts of her body, just noticing sensations without judgment. She was amazed at what she discovered. Her hips were incredibly tense, holding years of stress. Her chest felt constricted, as if she'd been holding her breath for months. Her legs felt distant, almost foreign. But as she practiced, these areas began to wake up, and with that awakening came a new quality of sensation, not necessarily sexual, but vital, alive. At the 6th session, Beto introduced the next phase, I'd like to incorporate some body therapy work, if you're comfortable with that. This would involve therapeutic touch to help release holding patterns and activate dormant areas. He explained the process clearly. She would wear comfortable clothing or undergarments. Everything would be done with explicit consent and clear boundaries, and the goal was simply to help her body remember how to feel. Maya felt nervous but also ready. Okay, I trust you. The first body therapy session was revelatory. Lying on the massage table, Maya felt Beto's hands working on her shoulders, her back, her hips. His touch was professional but present, firm but respectful. You hold an enormous amount of tension here, he said, working on her lower back. This area is directly connected to sexual energy flow. When it's blocked, everything gets blocked. As he worked, Maya felt emotions rising. Frustration, sadness, old disappointments. At one point, tears streamed down her face. That's good, Beto said softly. Let it move through you. Emotion is just energy in motion. But there was something else happening too. As Beto worked on releasing the physical tension, Maya began to feel alive. Not necessarily aroused in a sexual way, but tingling, vital, present in her body in a way she hadn't felt in years. Over the following weeks, the work deepened. Beto taught Maya about energy circulation, how sexual energy wasn't meant to be localized in one area, but to flow through the entire body. When energy gets stuck in one place, it can feel overwhelming, like libido in overdrive. When it can't flow at all, it feels like no libido. The goal is circulation, not accumulation, he explained. The revelation. It was during the 10th session that Maya had her breakthrough. She was lying on the table after an intense session of breathwork and body therapy, feeling her entire body humming with energy. Beto, she said suddenly, her voice filled with wonder. I think I finally understand. My libido wasn't too high or too low. It was trying to circulate but kept getting blocked. Tell me more, Beto encouraged. All those times I felt randomly aroused. It wasn't random at all. It was energy trying to move through my system. But because I didn't know how to circulate it, it just built up and built up until it had to release somehow, usually at completely inappropriate times. Maya sat up, animated now. And all those times I felt nothing with partners. It wasn't because I wasn't attracted or didn't want connection. It was because my body was so blocked, so tense, that energy couldn't flow at all. I was trying to force arousal into a system that was essentially offline. Tears streamed down her face, but they were tears of relief and understanding. I've spent years thinking I was broken because my desire didn't look like what I saw in movies or read in magazines. But I'm not broken. I just have a different energy pattern. I need to be relaxed and open for energy to flow. I can't force it or manufacture it on demand. It has to move naturally. Yes, Beto said simply. You've discovered something profound about yourself. Maya laughed through her tears. It seems so obvious now. But I was so busy judging myself for not being normal that I couldn't see what was actually happening. She realized something else too. Her libido wasn't primarily physical. It was energetic. She didn't respond much to visual stimulation or direct physical touch without context. But she responded intensely to presence, to emotional safety, to energy exchange. I'm an energetic person, she said, almost laughing at the simplicity of it. My sexuality is energetic too. That's not weird or wrong. It's just how I'm wired. The following weeks were transformative. Maya began implementing what she'd learned into her daily life. She established a morning practice of breathwork and body awareness. She learned to recognize when energy was building in her system and how to circulate it through movement and breath instead of letting it get stuck. She also became much more selective about dating. Instead of going out with men because they seemed good on paper, she paid attention to whether she felt an energetic connection. And she was honest from the beginning about what she needed. She went on a few dates with a musician named Alex, whom she met at a friend's backyard concert. From the first conversation, she felt an energetic resonance with him. Not necessarily sexual, but alive, present. "I need to go slowly," she told him on their third date. "My body doesn't respond to pressure or expectation. I need space and ease." "That actually sounds amazing," Alex replied. "I'm tired of everything feeling rushed and performative." They spent weeks just building connection. Long walks around Lady Bird Lake, cooking dinner together, lying under the stars at Zilker Park. And Maya felt something remarkable happening. Her body was opening naturally, gradually, without any force. When they finally did become physically intimate, it was completely different from anything Maya had experienced before. Because she wasn't trying to make her body respond a certain way. She was simply allowing the energy that had been building between them to express itself. At the 15th session, Beto asked if Maya felt ready to explore intimate alchemy. "This is the deepest work I do," he explained. "It's a tantric practice that works directly with sexual energy activation and circulation. It's not about achieving orgasm, though that may happen. It's about learning to move sexual energy through your entire system, elevating it, integrating it with your whole being." He explained the process with complete transparency. Everything would be done with conscious intent, clear boundaries, and Maya's full consent. The work involved very conscious, intentional touch, combined with advanced breathwork and energy circulation techniques. "I'm ready," Maya said, and she meant it. The intimate alchemy session began with a long meditation. Beto guided Maya into a state of deep relaxation and presence. She felt her body becoming heavy, her mind quieting, her breath deep and steady. Then the energy work began. Beto's touch was subtle but powerful, activating points along her body that she'd never consciously felt before. He taught her to breathe in specific rhythms, to visualize energy moving up her spine, to allow sensations without grasping at them. "Don't chase the pleasure," he instructed. "Just breathe and allow the energy to move." Maya followed his guidance, and something extraordinary began to happen. She felt waves of sensation moving through her entire body, not localized in one area but flowing, circulating. It was pleasure, yes, but it was also vitality, aliveness, pure energy. The sensations built and built, but instead of cresting and dropping like traditional orgasms she'd experienced, they kept circulating, kept building in layers. Maya felt like she was made of light, of energy, of pure sensation. At one point, she felt a profound opening, as if a door she didn't know existed had swung wide. Energy rushed through her system in waves of ecstasy that seemed endless. She cried, laughed, trembled, all at once. "Breathe," Beto's voice anchored her. "Keep circulating. Don't hold it in one place." The experience lasted nearly 2 hours. When it finally settled, Maya lay in a state of blissful peace unlike anything she'd ever known. Every cell in her body felt alive, awake, integrated. "How do you feel?" Beto asked gently. "Like I finally understand what sexual energy actually is," Maya whispered. "It's not just about sex. It's life force itself." The action. In the months that followed, Maya took concrete actions to honor what she'd discovered about herself. First, she completely restructured how she approached intimate relationships. She no longer accepted dates out of obligation or because someone seemed suitable. She only engaged with people who created that energetic resonance, regardless of whether they fit conventional criteria. Her relationship with Alex deepened beautifully. He was fascinated by what she was learning and wanted to understand her better. They practiced breathwork together, explored energy exchange, built intimacy in layers rather than rushing. "You've taught me so much about presence," Alex told her one evening as they watched the sunset from Mount Bonnell. "I used to think sex was about performance. Now I understand it's about energy and connection." Second, Maya established non-negotiable practices for maintaining her own energy circulation. She did breathwork every morning. She moved her body regularly, Not intense exercise, but flowing, conscious movement like dance or yoga. She spent time in nature, which she discovered helped her energy system reset. Third, she began sharing her knowledge with other women. She started writing a blog called Energy and Desire, where she explored the connection between vital energy and libido, between breath and sensation, between presence and pleasure. The response was overwhelming. Women from all over wrote to her, sharing their own confusion about their desire, their own feelings of being broken or abnormal. Maya organized a monthly gathering in Austin for women interested in exploring these themes, a safe space to discuss energy, sexuality, embodiment, and self-discovery. The meetings were held at a wellness center in East Austin and always had a waiting list. The most important thing I learned, Maya told the group at one meeting, is that there's no such thing as normal when it comes to desire. Some women are spontaneous, others are responsive. Some are primarily physical, others are energetic. Some need emotional connection first, others don't, and it's all valid. She also made changes in her professional life. Working in marketing had always felt somewhat hollow to her. Now, inspired by her own transformation, Maya began transitioning toward work that aligned more with her values. She started offering social media and content strategy specifically for wellness practitioners, helping people like Beto reach the women who needed their services. It combined her professional skills with her newfound passion for helping women understand their own bodies. Her relationship with her body transformed completely. She no longer judged herself for when desire appeared or didn't appear. She understood now that her libido was always present. It was the life force moving through her. Sometimes it expressed as sexual desire, sometimes as creative drive, sometimes as pure vitality. They were all the same energy. She learned to recognize the signs when her energy was getting blocked. Tension in her hips, constriction in her chest, feeling disconnected from her body. And she had tools now to address it. Breathwork, movement, body awareness practices. 6 months after her first session with sexologist Beto, Maya scheduled a follow-up session. "You look radiant," Beto said when he saw her. "I feel radiant," Maya replied, and it was true. She shared everything that had changed. The relationship with Alex, the blog, the women's gatherings, the career shift, but most importantly, the internal transformation. The biggest revelation, Maya said, was understanding that my libido was never the problem. My lack of understanding about how my libido actually worked, that was the problem. I was trying to force myself into a pattern that didn't match my reality. "And now?" Beto asked. "Now I honor how I actually am. I know I need emotional safety and energetic connection. I know I'm responsive rather than spontaneous. I know my desire is primarily energetic and needs circulation, not accumulation. And I know that's not only okay, it's perfect, because it's authentic." Beto smiled warmly. "You've done remarkable work. But remember, it's an ongoing practice. Keep nurturing this relationship with yourself." "I will," Maya promised. Epilogue. 1 year after that sweltering August afternoon when everything felt impossible, Maya stood in her apartment in South Austin, getting ready for a workshop she was co-facilitating with Jessica about women's sexual energy. She looked in the mirror and saw a woman completely transformed. Not physically. She still had the same dark eyes, the same warm smile, the same curves. But there was a new quality to her presence, a groundedness that came from deep self-knowledge. Her phone buzzed. A message from a woman who'd attended last month's gathering. "Maya, I just had to tell you, I finally had an incredible intimate experience. Not because I did anything different externally, but because I stopped fighting against how I actually work. Thank you for showing me it was possible." Maya smiled, feeling tears of joy. This was the real transformation, not just her own, but the ripple effect touching other women's lives. She replied, "That's beautiful. Keep honoring your truth. That evening, the workshop filled with women of all ages, all seeking to understand their own bodies better, to reconnect with their own energy, to stop judging themselves for not fitting a prescribed mold. For years, I thought my libido was broken, Maya told the room full of attentive faces. Sometimes it seemed too high, sometimes too low, never predictable. But it wasn't broken. It was trying to communicate with me in its own language, and I didn't know how to listen. She talked about energy circulation, about the difference between spontaneous and responsive desire, about how sexual energy is just life force energy, about the importance of understanding your own unique pattern, rather than comparing yourself to a fictional norm. The revelation wasn't that my libido needed to be fixed, Maya concluded. The revelation was that it was already working perfectly, just in its own way. And the most radical action I took was simply choosing to understand and honor that, instead of fighting against it. The women in the room nodded, many with tears in their eyes. After the workshop, dozens approached her to share their own stories, their own struggles, their own journeys toward self-acceptance. As Maya walked home through the warm Austin night, past the food trucks on South Lamar and the live music spilling out of venues, she felt a deep sense of gratitude. Gratitude for Beto, who had guided her with patience and expertise. Gratitude for Jessica, who had encouraged her to seek help. Gratitude for Alex, who honored how she actually worked. But mostly, gratitude for herself, for having the courage to question, to explore, and finally to accept her own truth. She paused in Zilker Park, looking up at the stars barely visible through the city lights. She remembered that August afternoon a year ago, when she'd felt so lost, so broken. Now she knew better. Her libido had never been in excess or deficit. It simply operated on its own logic, its own rhythm, its own language. And that difference wasn't a flaw, it was her authenticity. And authenticity, Maya had learned, was the most powerful aphrodisiac of all.